everybody, and welcome to Coffee with Jeanie and Cindy. I have my Nana.
What is that? Is that Nana Banana?
It's my Nana Banana cup that the kids made me because the kids call me Nana Banana. Their friends call me Nana Banana, which is where I find my joy and happiness these days. I'm in Florida now, as you know, because I have 4 grandchildren here. I find happiness and joy with them. They're not my only source of happiness and joy, but a major part of it. And that's what we're talking about today. Happiness and joy.
And there's such power in being happy and being joyful, and I know that you and I and other people around the world have been feeling this heaviness, and most of it is fear-based.
Right.
It's stuff we can't do anything about. But so many of these things are political and stuff. And yet Abraham Hicks says that the most powerful thing that we can do is to be happy. And they go, but Abraham, well, this is true. Well, okay. Whether it's true or not true, you saying that it's true makes it true.
Absolutely. Because it brings it into a dimension of reality. And there's so many dimensions.
Oh, yeah.
And we can choose what dimension we want to be in. And we do that with our attitude, our state of mind, our consciousness. That puts us in, and we can shift it in a moment. It's just a choice.
And you do a lot of that, especially like at our Bnow retreats, you have done like entrainment, through music and how we align, with the sad music or the happy music or the, whatever. Right. And it evokes that immediately.
Right.
And so, I was thinking about that whole statement that we've all heard. Variety is the spice of life, which means
absolutely,
if we can allow new things in, I'm in such awe and respect of you and Dennis just, selling your house and packing up and moving. I'm like, God, that was easy, but it doesn't mean anything as far as you and I, because we stay in touch anyhow, so it's fine. And I'm just as an aside, we had mentioned on one of our other coffee chats that now we've expanded from Texas to
Florida
with our Bnow women's retreats, and we've always wanted to expand. And people
from
are like,
giddy up to surf's up.
To surf's up, yeah. So don't we love that? So in March, everyone write down. Right now we have maybe 1 or 2. Openings, maybe. I need to look at this for our Texas retreat, the 23rd through the 26th of September here in Texas. Go to beautifulnetworkofwomen.com and sign up, and I'll let you know if we have room. It's that close. Right. But in March of next year, the 3rd through the 6th, which is also a Friday through a Monday, you're looking at spaces for us in between Tampa, St. Pete, and Sarasota in that area. Yeah, so that is going to be fun.
And if you're listening to this broadcast and it's an archive for you, in other words, it's way in the past, just remember to go to beautifulnetworkofwomen.com. We've always got something going, and we are growing. We're expanding into Zoom calls. We're expanding into connecting people with each other more and more and more. So it's not just about the retreats that Bnow is about. Bnow is about finding a sisterhood with like-minded women who know that we can heal the planet with love. That's what our whole mission is.
So I also want to, and it's one of these type of things. We have been being asked for years by women and by men. I've had men saying, well, if I wear a dress, can I come? We have to have a sex change. So, and no Y chromosomes, but other than that, we're good. But we have snagged another site, a URL called Best Network of Men, Bnow. And you and I are working with some wonderful male presenters on doing some men's retreats. So, you can look it up online, but there's nothing online yet. but you can just tuck that back there. And if you have an interest, get in touch with us. So
Right.
Beautiful Network of Women at gmail.com will lead you to either Cindy or to me. So,
Exactly. Well, let's get back to this joy and happiness.
yeah.
Because yesterday, and the men in our lives, yesterday I experienced with my husband, he was not in a good state of mind yesterday. And he kind of went into this kind of a bulldog thing, right? And I said, ooh, I need to be somewhere you're not. That's all I said. In other words, when somebody's having a negative vibe on them, it's very important that you recognize it as energy and not judge it, but remove yourself from it. And then also maybe tell the person, you're in a place I don't want to be in. I don't want that energy on me. So I'm going to remove myself from, I went out to the back porch. And what that does is it just holds up a mirror. In fact, I used to tell my kids when they would do something like that, I would say, go say what you just said in the mirror and look at what we all just saw, right? And of course they, because a lot of times when we're in a state of that, and we all do it, we don't understand how we're projecting ourselves. And I know you have a story, but I'd like to tell a quick story on that. I was a waitress in the 1970s. I was a cocktail waitress. And my husband and I had split up, and it was Christmas time, and I was low on money, and, the emotions of being split up and all of that. And for some reason, I was not in a good state of mind. And normally, to make good tips, waitresses, they do this, hey, you have to be on. You can't bring that to you. Well, that day, for some reason, and I didn't even know I was doing this, Jeanie, I walked into a party of about 8 to 10 people, I think it was. And I got their drink orders. And then one of them wanted coffee. So I went to the back to make him some fresh coffee. And I came back to the table, and there was nothing on the tip tray. I brought them their change, and there was nothing on the tip tray. And I don't know what made me do it, but I said, excuse me, can I ask why this is empty? And the other,
right? Nobody ever called him out on it before. Right?
It was obvious that I'd done something wrong because my tip trays were never empty.
Right.
Especially with a group of 10 people. And somebody said, they all were looking at each other like, whoa. I said, I need to know what I did wrong because I make my living on tips, as you know. So obviously I've done something. Did everybody get their drinks? And some guy says, well, I had to get up and get my own coffee. And I said, oh, yeah, I saw the bartender brought up some fresh coffee when I was in the back making yours. Okay, I see that. And then somebody said, well, you were rude. I said, what? And I said, oh. And they said, you didn't smile. And I said, oh. And then somebody said, and don't tell us you're having a bad day. And that was a guy. The guy with the coffee said that. Don't tell us you're having a bad day. The dam broke. I was sobbing. I said, I am so sorry. I said, I am having a horrible day. My life is horrible right now, but I didn't realize I brought that to your celebration here. Please accept my apology. Went to the back and just cried. Came back, and this is the 70s. There was a $10 bill sitting there.
Wow.
My tip jar.
Which was a big tip for then.
Yeah, because drinks were $1.50, you know. And I went, oh, well, a couple weeks later, this guy walked, these two people were there. This guy told his friend that I said, hey, and I came in, I was all myself, you know, hey, how you doing? He goes, this is her. This is
It's amazing what a little money will do.
So I realized that it was an office,
yeah,
and that I was used as an example of how you need to project with customers, even
right.
if you're having a bad day. I was used as an example with that, right? I realized that that was what was going on. And I told the guy, I said, yeah, this is my normal self. I said, I was having a horrible day that day. And I really learned a lot from that experience, right?
Yeah, that's the joy and happiness. That's the power of it,
The
or
joy-
the lack thereof.
right.
And, you know, but the fact that you remember this out of, you know, bazillions of transactions and
Yeah.
people that you've met, that made such an impression on you
Yes.
to say, I am in control.
Yes.
My emotions and my days do not dictate how I show up.
But also understanding that if somebody is rude or comes off as rude, that there's something going on with them. Something has happened, because there are people who are joyful and happy all the time. There are people who pretend they're joyful and happy all the time, which I'm guilty of that. Not now, but in my younger years. If I'm acting like everything's okay and I'm just super happy, there is something dreadfully wrong going on in my life, right?
Well, that's the second agreement out of the other agreements. Don't take anything personally.
Don't take things.
It's not about us. It's about how people view us and see us.
Exactly.
But, you know, it's really interesting. I was telling you long years ago, I used to own a travel agency, and I started going to Cancun before it was really a resort. You know, there was one hotel there, the El Presidente, and the president of Mexico was there, and his, you know, gendarmes were there with their, you know, big guns and all this stuff. And so we took a boat over to Cozumel. There were no hotels, there was nothing, but it was Christmas time. And we took this little boat over there, and there was like this little palapa, it was adorable, right by the ocean, you know, thatched hut. And they had these little tables inside with oilskin tablecloths that had Santas on them. Well, there was this couple, and they're like, I don't know, 10-year-old son from New York City. And she was so freaking obnoxious, even coming over in the boat. And I'm like, God dog, lady, you're on vacation, you know, have a margarita or something, you know, or give me one. So anyhow, they sit down, and the little waiter is, you know, helping us. And she's like, don't you have spaghetti? Like, you know, and he just looked at her, and she said, he only likes spaghetti. Don't you serve spaghetti? And, you know, they're serving us fresh grouper that's just been caught with lime juice and pineapple and mangoes. And I mean, it is like food of the gods. And I mean, she was so freaking obnoxious. And, you know, of course, no, there was no spaghetti in captivity. And I just wanted to say, you know, lady, why don't you just stay home and go eat spaghetti?
Yeah.
But, you know, beyond being irritated with her and seeing the absurdity of this, going back to that statement, variety is the spice of life, new experiences, new things. And I actually felt sorry for her son, because he is growing up in a world that is so limited that his joy, unless he can have spaghetti, his joy is not going to be available to him unless he makes another decision. I mean, he's certainly not a victim. But, I saw it so clearly at that time, Cindy. It's like we get to choose. And truly, if you don't want to experience new things, stay home.
Right.
For real.
I had a thought, Jeanie, one time. Think of the opposite. Wonder if we were all alike. Mm-hmm. We might as well be robots.
There's no expansion. There's no diversity. There's no creativity. And we've all known people who just want everybody to think the same way, lockstep, whether it's through religion or your social status or your politics.
Yes. All of it.
Yeah. If they could only just feel like I feel. It's
exactly.
Like you said, how boring,
But after enlightenment, mm-hmm. you understand that everybody's on a personal journey, but our true essence in ourself is that we are one in the state of love. It's mm-hmm. just what degree of love. Some people have a thimble. Some people have an ocean of love. Mm-hmm. So, but we all have it. Every mm-hmm. single one, even the most demonic people that we're seeing on the news these days, mm-hmm. have it. They have love in them somewhere, even if it was for their dog. I mean,
I have a dog story. Of course. I just saw this right before we got on the air. And the title of it was Stray Dogs Know This Restaurant Cooks for Them. And it says, Geraldo Ortiz's mother taught him to always help those most in need. So when a hungry stray dog appeared at his restaurant, Ahilalo, that's his restaurant name, one night, hoping for a scrap of food, Ortiz did what many other people would not do. Instead of chasing her away, the young Peruvian gave the overjoyed dog a meal. Unsurprisingly, the unloved animal appeared the following evening and many more afterward. Aww. Now, word must have gotten around the city about the tasty free meals. Since that first night, 6 years ago, other dogs have shown up at that place of kindness in the city of Lima. And Ortiz never fails to feed them and to provide them with water. He says, I love to help animals and people. It fills my soul. We don't take anything with us when we leave this world. So let's just share a little, whatever little or however much we have, and let's respect the animals and end animal abuse. And he goes on to say, my inspiration was always my mother and still is. Now, you put this up against the mother's, he's got to have spaghetti. Yeah. And I'm serious. She does the same with people and dogs. We also bring homeless people to our place, provide them with food. The small restaurant does a good trade in typically Peruvian meat-based dishes, including anticucho, rachi, and mojelitos, plus sweetbread. We share with them the food we sell, and sometimes there are people who donate croquettes, and we also share them, Ortiz said. For this passionate chef and small business owner, sharing what he has with others is the best feeling.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is the power of joy and happiness.
Joy and happiness. Mm-hmm. It's extending yourself with the energy of love will instantly bring you joy and bring you a sense of value because it expands.
Yeah.
You turn your light up and it's contagious. I was talking about somebody or about you and I and Bnow with somebody today from Canada. Mm-hmm. And one thing I've come to realize is now that I'm in Florida, I know I'm here on a mission. Every time that I've ever moved, God gives me a new assignment. And I don't realize that until in retrospect. And it's all through my creativity that in music, because I've always done something different in music every time I've moved. And now I understand that those of us who are enlightened, who understand the God source, and aligning ourselves with that vibration of God and love, that we don't have to go being Paul Revere, going down the city saying, it's time to enlighten, it's time to enlighten. We don't have to do that.
Mm-mm.
All we need to do, and what we're doing with Bnow, is be the light.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that man who fed the first dog, more will come, because that was an energy of love. So with Bnow, what we want our women to understand is your value, and they do. All of the retreats that we've had, we've seen transformations, we've seen friendships, we saw Misty and Star together, we've seen this beautiful trust and community of women who've come together, and the light that came out of Misty and Star, this beauty, Star just had this heart attack, and we were all there to support her, and she could feel the love. And that's what we are. We, in the sisterhood, when somebody has something go on, we're there to support you and love you, but also to help you understand that you have the power to heal yourself. You have the power to change your life. It's up to you to choose that happiness. We're not your happiness.
Mm-mm.
You're not responsible for your happiness. We are here to hold up a mirror and let you see who you really are.
Yes.
And who you really are is the light of love. The spaghetti lady, not so much. She
is a product of her environment too.
She is.
I am positive, that somebody, kind of inculcated her into, it's got to be this way, you know.
It has
and
to.
So if I'm going to be charitable, I could say, well, how brave of them to get on a plane and go to a brand new resort that's not even been developed.
Exactly. Exactly.
I okay. Now it took me a long time, and that thought just now occurred to me. It's been decades, but it's true. If people will go to beautifulnetworkofwomen.com, one of the things that we came up with early on, Cindy, through collaboration, was women advocating women.
That's it.
And together healing the world with love.
Healing the world.
That's it.
Period. And
not judgment.
No judgment.
Not
no judgment.
Not criticism, not separation, but love.
But also on that no judgment, it's like the spaghetti lady.
Mm-hmm.
All you do is you say, I don't vibrate with that energy.
Right.
So I think I'm going to not participate in that energy.
So me throwing her into the ocean was not a good idea. I didn't have the guts to do it, but I thought about it.
But that's where, I love you when you do stuff like that, when you say things like that, because that is acknowledging our humanness and acknowledging that we are having a human experience, and that judgment comes from our survival instinct.
It does.
And so when we see people who are different than us, what we do is we say, ooh, not my tribe, not my tribe.
Yeah.
And I need my tribe so that I can survive. And in fact, I've been saying that ever since I came to Florida. I'm looking forward to finding my tribe because I want to be around people who vibrate in the light and the understanding that we are all one, that we are divine beings having the human experience. That's my tribe. And that's who I want to vibrate with. And
we are magnetic.
Yes.
And we are contagious. We are infecting the quantum field with who we are. And we are contagious in that when we're around people like that, they're drawn to us and what we're doing.
Exactly.
It's something bigger than us. And what you said as we're wrapping up here is about the judgment and all of that. I want us to have a conversation in one of our coffee chats about the difference between judgment and discernment.
Yes. Oh,
There's
yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Judgment is fear-based, and discernment is an outgrowth of wisdom.
And choices.
And choices.
Making your choice to be happy.
Yeah.
Find that thing that makes you happy,
Mhm.
whatever it is. I know when I'm having a hard time, I can close my eyes and see my little grandchildren laughing, which I get to do that all the time now.
Mhm.
And it instantly puts me in a state. Or also, I feel good. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah.
I know that I should. I'll
Wah,
sing it.
wah, wah, wah.
I'll
Yeah.
sing it, and I write my own words to it because I got you.
Right. Right.
And I sing that. That's actually one of my prayers. I'll do that.
I
And
believe
it
it.
will instantly put a shift in that.
Mhm.
So that's a suggestion to people. Find a song that makes you happy. Start singing it. Make your own words up if you want to. And if you need to vent and say, I don't vibe with that tribe. Make up your own
I can
words.
go eat spaghetti.
Go eat
Thank you
spaghetti.
again, Cindy. This is just always so much fun with you. And thank you to our audience.
Yes.
Please share this. And it's not just for women. You can share this with men in your life. This is all, encompassing. These ideas are bigger than just us, but especially, please share with your friends, your women friends, your buddies, your neighbors, your coworkers, your family, and let us know how we can serve you.
Come and join us.
Come join us. That's right.
I love you, Jeanie.
Love you too. Mwah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.